All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Okay, look. Our carts, both of our carts for our pen are running low. And if we look on the calendar right here, we now have, let me see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, and then 31 days in June. So 39 days. So I guess we're starting to. I guess we don't need to get another cart, right? If we said we're gonna quit, I'm sucking the hell out of this thing. And there's a little wax at the bottom, but it won't drip down. And the same for the other cart. I have two, and the same is for that one. So, but we're not gonna replace it. Bye, Mary Jane. Look, it's all fogging up. When it's all fogging up, it means it's out. Maybe I'm getting some residuals, but I've been doing this for so long, I probably wouldn't even feel the effects. Now, if I was a guy that never did this before and I was just smoking on this, it'd probably be the world for me. But right now, it's not doing anything. Well, I'm sure it's doing something because I keep sucking on it. But in fact, I feel something. But I'm not. I don't use all day. I generally use at night. So our nights are gonna have to be nicotine filled, if anything. And I think I want to move nicotine more to the daytime. But whatever it takes me to get over this, because I'm not replacing it. With that being said, I'm gonna replace something else that I drink a lot. And let me go get the drink I'm replacing it with. I won't be long, guys. I'll be fast. I forgot to grab it. Fuck. I'm sorry. Sorry it took so long. The main reason, okay, so now I'm just gonna explain to you what I'm doing. I'm gonna replace this President fuel, right? I'm gonna replace this, right? Right? I'm gonna replace this with this milk. Now, this container of milk costs $3.43. This costs $2 and some change, right? I'm not gonna say anything negative about this, okay? I was gonna say something crazy as hell. I was gonna say it costs $2 a chain plus some crazy as hell. But we're just gonna, since it's been treating us nice and we really enjoy drinking Diet Coke, we won't say anything about it because we may still drink one in the future. But my goal is to replace, whenever I have the urge for this, pay the extra dollar and some change. Alright? I don't go to the doctor. Can I pay the extra dollar and some change? Keep that a reality. Okay, I've always loved milk. And this whole milk tastes way better. It tastes like water. I've always loved milk. I hadn't had this shit until I hadn't had whole milk until I was like 20 something, 25. I'm 26 now. So let me enjoy this new thing that should have been normal. The other shit, the other milk that I was drinking, that was fine with me for a long time. But last week I just kept buying like little like plastic bottles of milk, and every time I was getting it, it was coming out all like there was chunks in it, and it was just throwing me off every time. Like consistency, constantly chunks in it, and I was spitting out the chunks, and I was like, oh, and I was just going crazy. And then I just remember this stuff in the glass would never. So I bought a glass to see if it would happen. It didn't happen. So, and I can also get the smaller containers, which are actually $1.99. So, and then I get money for it. I don't know, whatever. In my mind, it just seems like it's free at that point. I'm like, it's free. They just want me to drink the milk. So that's how we'll do math. Because this is $2 and I feel bad afterwards. Literally. Well, not all the time, but I can get in my head and make a stomach ache happen after I have one of these. If I have a stomach ache after this, I'm like, oh, it's working. Those are the probiotics. And that's our science, okay? Now, I'm pretty sure this is not helping with probiotics. This vape right here, shooting nicotine into my digestive tract 24/7 since I was like 15. But we'll handle that beast when we get there. As far as this weed pen, this is fairly new, and I'm actually thinking it's going to be super easy to quit. Though I have grown accustomed to it in my older years, but I don't think it'll be a problem. As I like suck the last drop out of it. I think that I'll be able to separate from that just fine. The main reason we're separating it is because we're going to be doing a lifestyle that's some may deem a delinquent lifestyle, and I just want to be as prim and proper as possible, right? So with that being said, on the weekends, the days we don't work, dress for interviews, but not go to any. But if we needed to, you know what I mean? Keep the car clean so it doesn't look like what's happening is happening. And keep me looking clean so what's happening doesn't look like what's happening. I kind of, and let me actually drag you guys into this little idea I had in the past. Hold on, where's it at? Where's this app I was using? If it's not on this computer, I'm going to feel like... Alright, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. I forgot what it was called. Or did I? Okay, so... It's my alarm clock going off again. It's following the schedule that I'm going to be following. So here, let's just do this for fun. Since I'm very visual, I was like, why don't we have a whiteboard? I am centering. You're like, oh my god, he's autistic. No, I fucked up right there. If I would have got that raindrop correctly, I would have definitely been the man for the rain, if you know what I mean. But nope, I fucked up the raindrops, so I'm not the rain man. But these aren't raindrops, these are shower drops. So that's the shower, right? And there's me. I remember back in the day I couldn't draw myself as a stick person, I had to draw myself as a circle person. Alright, that's me. Right. It's a perfect stick person, just like mom would draw it. It's an African stick person. An African stick person looks different than an American stick person. Like when my American teachers used to draw a stick person, I used to be like, I've seen better. Well, I don't discriminate. That's just the American version. I love both sides, mom and dad. So let's just do the African one though, cause it's a little exciting. That's your. I fucked up on the face, but it's really small. So that's me. I've centered my day around showering. This is I really want to break down my day into something that's simple like that, where I can say, actually, I centered it around taking showers. I want somebody really smart to explain it. Like, he didn't center his day around being a nomadic person. He centered it around showers, and the reason, because water is the most replenishing thing ever. And to live in a desert. Like, I don't think I'll die of the heat death thing. Even though I'm going to take all the precautions not to. I only take cold showers. I feel like somebody's like... So, my days center around showers. I'm actually not taking as many showers as I would like to in the recent in the past month. But that's because I've been freaking myself out about everything else. A perfect day, I take 2 showers. One in the morning cold, one after work cold. An excellent day, I take a third one. If I take a third one, I'm going insane. I'm running for president. Like, at that point. Well, not really, because if I went to the gym, then I would have to take a shower. And I haven't been going to the gym. So, a day void of the gym would be 2 showers. But actually, let me try to think of this. Alright. So this would be around 9 o'clock on my new living situation schedule. In the morning. Alright. It's almost like a hieroglyph. A hieroglyphic. So that's 9 o'clock in the morning. I would have been asleep. I would have been waking up. It's the blanket. That's the blanket on me. And that's the sun. It's really close because I'm outside, probably. The sun's that close because we're outside. We're close. we're probably, and the sun's probably happy because I'm chilling with it. So let's put a smiley face. So that would be around 8 a.m. Right. This is all approximate. That would like assume that I had 8 hours of sleep, which I would be happy. Wait, let me see. I'm smiling. So that's 8 a.m. Then I would have been in the gym between 8. I would have had all the way to 9 to get to the gym to do a 30-minute workout. We'd be leaving the gym. You can do whatever type of workout you want in the morning. You don't have to just make the muscles pop and like pop your back a little bit and like bend down or something. So you're gonna be doing stuff anyway, trying to get to the gym anyway. That's gonna be exercise. So the first gym interaction is really not this serious. It's mainly for the shower, but we have to do something. So something like lift up the dumbbell or something one time, right? So just even hold it and like move your shoulders or something, right? Let's do something. So 10 o'clock. I don't have to be at work till like 11:45 or 11:45 to 10:45. They fluctuate depending on the day. So they fluctuate depending on the day, the week, whatever. It's not really consistent, but between there, no, it's not 11:45. It's 11:10. So I'm either supposed to be there at 11:10 or 11:45 usually. No later than 11:45 realistically. And I even think that that's not a thing, but if we checked our schedule when it said it, that's what we would do, right? So I fucked up. 5, 4, 5. That's how it feels to have ADHD. So that 4 is a 5. That 5 is a 5. So between these times, but we would start heading to work at 10, right? Because that would give us enough time to do all this bullshit. And then we would just be at work basically an hour early every day, which I imagine my boss would enjoy, and I would enjoy too, because I'd be a better employee. So that's our goal. We want to be a better everything. So we would be there at 10 o'clock bothering our managers. And that sounds fun. Social interaction. So that says 10 a.m. We would be driving. Draw the car. Hopefully you guys, I don't give away the car too much by drawing it like this. I don't want you guys to be following me around. This is pretty detailed. Alright. There's the car in all its glory. It actually really looks like that. That's crazy. And obviously drawing is another one of my special abilities. So that's what we'll be doing at 10. I keep trying to do a dot and it does a line. Our stroke is becoming progressively worse as we draw. So 10 a.m. I'm mad there's no color in this. It's kind of destroying my ADHD, but this seems more serious with no color. Alright, so that's me going to work. And then this is when I would lock in. But truthfully, my schedule is designed for me to lock in as soon as I wake up. See, the sun's right there. We're looking at each other. So that's my first shower. Great. Everything seems nice. And that's, in this workout thing, that's something I don't do now. Not in the morning. Or ever, really. So work ends between 8. That's when my schedule was going. My alarm clock was going off. 8 and 9. Or 10. 10's too late though. But let's just say I'm off at these times. PM. Now to the gym again. See? And then now this workout can be a little more intensive, but our job's pretty physically intensive too, so it determines I can determine how much of a monster I want to be in the future the next day. All this is going to compound, and my pectoral muscles are going to start fending for themselves. So they're going to start fending for themselves, start bringing food home. They already ate. They're like, we grabbed a bite while we was out. I'm like, alright, with your bad selves. So anyway, then, now, okay, Everything so far we should be smiling. At this point, when the sun goes down, after work, this is time for stress. Where's this? Where's the, this is where we stress and we say, "What the fuck did we do? Oh my god, what the?" Because every day, every day we're like, "Oh my god, what the fuck plan was this? What the fuck?" But that should be around after we took our shower and worked out a little bit. That should be around 11 to 12. We can have a little heart attack. It's good for the metabolic system. Good to bring in some stress. I mean, the whole day's been smiles. We gotta have some stress eventually. All right. Between 12 p.m. 11, 12, right? So maybe even 1. Hopefully it doesn't get to 1. Start to cut into my sleeping hours. So at that point we can stop stressing and just get pissed and be like, all right, bro, just go sleep. And then we'll figure that out, because every day it'll be different. That's why this is a question mark and I can't explain what the fuck I'm doing. But it will ultimately result into us waking up again, right? Because usually, no matter how stupid a decision I make, I have to still wake up in the morning again. So that's generally the schedule. Now, hopefully, whatever stupid decision doesn't stop us from actually going to sleep or like throws us in jail or anything, and we can actually complete the cycle, wake up, and then continue. On my off days, I don't care. I'm off. You'd be like, "You're gonna spend the night in jail, okay, son?" I'm like, "Alright, I'm off." Get to sleep somewhere. Sleep in a bed. I'm cheating. Hopefully my channel doesn't find out about this. It's gonna change our perspective. Instead of seeing this, let me draw a wall. We're gonna see this. Right? Like the one guy did. He drew that. This is bad. This is good. Seeing stairs are good. Seeing walls are bad. We're probably going to see a wall every time at 11 between 12. But we'll get over it to see the stairs, and then we will continue. Now imagine after 8 days, this is my first prediction. I'm doing it live with you guys. After 8 days, you'll be able to go up to us in our sleep, shine a flashlight in our eyes, record it, put it side by side with a wild animal, and you won't be able to pick which one is which. And that is the goal. It means we're locked into our schedule fully, and we're fully it's fully what's the word? It's venom. It's talking to me and everything. And helping me. Helping me do things I couldn't do alone. So that's see how many showers there are? It's really centered around the shower. After a shower, I feel so good. I really feel like I could take on the world after a cold shower. So that's what that last one's gonna have to be. The morning shower is fine. I can go to work. That's gonna be the only time I'm gonna feel normal. When I'm at work, I might even think I have a home to go to. And we're gonna be so busy working, we're not gonna remember that that we don't. Let me include the shower, because the shower is part of like my good day. Fuck it, let me include the wake up. I wake up every day. That's part of a normal day. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, see, but it'll be blurry because we're working. It'll be the shower will be blurry because we're working. We won't remember this. It'll be a haze. But our eye will be like a goddamn wild animal. Let's put some eyelids on the bottom. Oh wait, humans have eyelids on the bottom. I thought humans only had eyelids on the top. Let's put a thin layer of another eyelid that's overlapping underneath to keep the eye moist while we're staring at predators. Our body's gonna go through that physiological change. So right now we're trying to force a physiological change. We're trying to unlock some dormant DNA. See what we can get unlocked. And that right there, I'm pretty proud of that. I like the question marks there, so I don't have to explain to you guys what I'm gonna do because I'd be lying at this point. I'm gonna say fucking rest stop. That's a rest stop, if I've ever seen one. Or a park. That's a tree. A palm tree to be exact. Let's complete that. That's a palm tree. Or it's a clans member. But you see whatever you want. I'm not in the business of changing your perspective of what you see. I'm just showing you what I see because it's already crazy enough. So all this equals, let's move this to the side. The fuck? This is what I'm used to animate, by the way. In Nip Slip, I explained my animations and I showed you the process of how I do it, but there was no audio, so I just privated the video, and I guess I'll do a commentary over it. But you won't hear the part where I realized my nip was slipped. All this equals money. Okay? It all equals money. Because no matter what happens to me in life, I have to follow this schedule forever. And I made it because the days started blending into each other, and I was like, wow, ooh, night, day, and I was just like, wow, oh, night, day, night. And I remember there used to be complaining in between it. But I got so in the schedule, I was like, damn, there's not even time to complain. Night, day. I was like, well, instead of complain, let's replace that energy with something else. And then I was like, well, how about gearing up for those like day cycles every day? I was like, well, I can't plan for them every day. Like, well, why don't you just make a schedule that bleeds into all of them that you like and you would follow and enjoy? Because honestly, this whole freaking out part right here with the question mark, that's solved by land. Because then we're just go park on our fucking land. But until that, we don't have the money. So I'm not even going to write land. All this equals money. Now, you see the money goes into the second part. Because then, the money will eventually eat this part, the freaking out part. But we'll still have the rest of it. And then we'll move on to the next chapter. And that's really for you guys. The next chapter is more exciting for you guys. Because then, after I've used the money that was coming out of this machine, that was turning my eye that color and making it look weird, to buy the land, I have to use that money to buy the land. Well, now we're still shooting out money because we paid off the land, like we bought the land. Like, that's our only expense, really. Like, major expense. We didn't have any other major expenses gearing up for that. That's our major expense. But after a while, it won't be our major expense. Because things like gym memberships and stuff like this, can disappear. But we can keep the showering. We can keep the commuting to work. We can keep the schedule. And we'll have more time on the schedule because we won't be spending this 3 hours, maybe this potential 3 hours to find a place. We'll have 3 hours a day to find a place, and we'll actually have longer than that if we want to find the place in the morning. But as far as I'm concerned, we need to have some dirty days where we don't plan and we just find the place that lasts 3 hours. We have to get good at that. And then we can cheat every now and then and do a hotel or whatever. We find a discount. But at the same time, it's like, really my excuse to do that would be like, okay, I can do a video like I used to do just laying in a bed. So I would utilize the bed for that. So I would count the hotel costs as a video, and it wouldn't be an everyday thing. But just the freedom of it all. The freedom to fail, to build upon this plan, or to excel past our even wildest dreams is all there. It's scary, it's depth-defying. And it does help me wake up in the morning to know that at least I'll be in charge of that much. Alright, basically all of it. So, with that being said, let's see if I pass the hour mark. Fuck. Okay, listen. I didn't think I would anyway with just this. Can we squeeze more showers? On our off days we can, because we'll visit the gym, and each gym visit will be a shower visit. So, I'm not gonna save that because it's in this video forever, so we're just gonna exit out of that. Now, let's just end on a song again. No, I'm just playing. Let's end on a video. I'm burning a steak again. Alright, y'all gonna watch him while I go check on my steak. I didn't even see this one yet, so you guys are lucky. You're probably gonna see it a billion times though before I get back, so let me not do that. Alright, I'm gonna play this podcast episode I listen to until I get back.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
No. I'm too vain. That's exactly right. I look back and I think, those headphones are pushing up my hair. Isn't that sad? That's
so shave
sad.
Your head.
That's sad.
You never look back if you do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the greatest thing in the world. Yeah. It's freedom.
I have a big dent here from when a meteorite landed on me when I was a kid.
A meteorite? Yeah. Oh, funny story.
I know.
I've got plenty of cuts on my head. I got them all over the place.
Well, you're looking pretty unscarred.
The back of my head, I have one when I was a little kid. It's pretty big. That one of these cranes that lifts up sewer pipes, those big concrete pipes, banged me off the back of the head. Yeah.
That's not good.
Grayed out, went to the hospital.
Were you a different person before that experience?
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to talk to my mom. I was always a little
this
wild.
This could be of autobiographical significance.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of head trauma.
Were you knocked out?
My personality. No. Okay, I stayed conscious, but I got close.
That's the big predictor.
I got gray. I grayed out that I came back to. I didn't completely go unconscious. So Jamie went golfing this weekend with O.J. Simpson's golf clubs.
Not
with OJ. He's not here.
Exercise. I think that would be the next step.
Jamie bought O.J. Simpson's golf clubs after he
died. This is like a childhood dream?
No, they were just for sale. I saw them for sale. I said, why not? They came in. I wanted some big grips.
Yeah,
they weren't that expensive.
A couple of my friends. What did Shane get? Shane got a bunch of stuff,
I
right?
talked him into buying some stuff, yeah.
He got like scarves and
ties. He bought a bunch of ties.
I think scarves too.
Okay, he bought a trophy
A trophy?
and a Bill Clinton
Yeah.
signed photo.
And he spent thousands of dollars.
What was this? Was this some sort of O.J. Simpson auction?
Yeah, it was like an estate sale. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
You know, he's dead now, so you can get his stuff.
Right, for nothing. Pennies on the dollar.
Well, only people like Jamie and Jane
arguable.
are dumb enough to buy it. It's like for a goof. It's one of those things like you're either getting it for a goof or you're a very dark person.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't want to own it, even for a goof. Like if I found OJ played pool, I wouldn't want his cue.
Was there cues? No, there wasn't. There was a weird notebook that Robert Kardashian had like handwritten stuff to him.
Blood
I
splatter.
was like, whoa, that might be interesting. But
It's taking a vicious turn, Joe, already.
Yeah, that's a dark story.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you only know the surface of it.
Well, it's dark in both ways. It's also dark in planted evidence. You know, there was blood at the scene of the crime that had preservative in it, allegedly, supposedly, according to Robert Kardashian, and according to, I believe, the forensic scientists when they analyzed it. It matched OJ's blood, but they had to draw blood from OJ in order to determine whether or not it was his blood that was at the scene of the crime. And some of the blood found at the scene of the crime had that preservative in it that they use. They were sloppy in the 90s, you know?
Compared to now.
Well, there was no DNA evidence back then. You know, cops were there. There's always going to be a certain percentage of cops that just want to convict somebody regardless of the evidence. And if there's, in their mind, they believe someone's guilty, they'll do whatever they can, including planting evidence, I guess. At least that's allegedly. Not that I don't think he did it. I definitely think he did it. But I also think the cops planted evidence, which is probably at least partially why he got off, I think the big reason why he got off was Rodney King, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Have you gone into the whole George Floyd story at all? Have you ever looked at what they actually did to him? It's a combination of things. Like what the cop did was horrible, but also he was dying. Mm-hmm. Most people probably, if they did that to you, you probably would have lived. Mm-hmm. That guy had an
That
large
was my
heart.
understanding
He
of
was
it, yeah.
fucked up, but that cop did lean on his neck, which is always interesting to see people try to minimize that. I'm always you gotta be able to just say what it is.
Well, that situation can be ugly in a multitude of ways.
Yes.
Right. That's when things get, that's when it's very difficult to pick your moral pathway forward. All your choices are not good.
Yes.
Right.
Which is oftentimes the case when it comes to conflicts, right?
Yes.
Conflicts are very complicated, and people want it to be binary. They want there to be a good guy and a bad guy, and that's oftentimes not really the case.
Well, it's hard to organize yourself for combat unless you are quite convinced that you're the good guy. Mm-hmm. So there's a default to that dichotomy that's a necessary part of, even standing your own ground, right? Because otherwise you get demoralized. Mm-hmm. And so I suppose people, when they're threatened, they default to a simple narrative, and because you can't defend yourself. In some ways, it's very hard to defend yourself, especially physically or militarily, without a pretty cut and dried narrative.
Well, especially military operatives, you have to have a very your life and the people that you're with, their life depends on you not having any confusion about whether or not it's morally correct to be doing what you're doing. That's why they like.
So let's say play is the foundation by the pill, and otherwise you just act in half measures.
Yeah, and often you gotta be able to just say what it is.
Well, that situation can be ugly in a multitude of ways.
Yes.
Right. That's when things get, that's when it's very difficult to pick your moral pathway forward. All your choices are not good.
I was talking about the same shit basically. I was like, he said you gotta be able to make a stupid plan or something or whatever and build upon it. I'm never gonna ask him or anybody that. No, I've already have, and they've all said it's stupid or let's see what happens. So whatever, okay. I mean, I do care, but I don't know. I really hate talking about it, but I feel like this is just necessary to just get this documented. Kind of like the fact that you guys saw the house yesterday, and that's so I'm not lying about actually living somewhere right now. There's proof as far as you can gauge from a camera. AI is out now, though. Another reason I didn't like drinking milk in the past because, like, I didn't like drinking it like when I was recreational at home because I was already doing something recreational at home, and milk takes away the effects of that, so I was really avoiding it. But now that we're not going to be doing that recreational activity, I'm going to drink a lot of milk, more than I was drinking before. I like it now because it's like warmer, it's not so cold. I'll be back. I religiously wash out my milk containers now because when I first got introduced to the milk containers, I threw one away the first time, and then the other times I just let them. It was a really pain to clean them all at once when I neglected to just rinse them out. So we just rinse them out as soon as we drink out of them now, so they're clean. Or that they can be well cleaned when they get to wherever they're going without looking crazy as hell. Though we've never returned any crazy as hell looking glasses. We've just spent a long time cleaning them and vowed never to do that again. So we'll go through some suffering, but if we don't like it, we'll do whatever we can to avoid it. And I hope that's proved with my lack of ability to spell. We will do whatever. Oh, it's not showing. Oh, there it is. We will do whatever to avoid some shit that's really painful. And that's just a human trait. So, yeah. But we have AI now, so. And we have spell check, right? I'm not gonna blame it all on spell check, but spell check helped. Alright. Look, man. What are we on? What are we on? Wait, what was I gonna do? I was gonna clickbait with Jordan Peterson, but I can't. Because, well, you guys listen to it. I just thought the volume was off when I came back. Alright, we'll just put in the thumbnail like we just went to the Jordan Peterson conference, but we went there already like a while ago, and I already told you guys about that, so. If you clicked on this video to hear my experience, you gotta go to another video. Which video? I don't know. When did we go? We went to the last one in Tucson, so that wasn't that long ago. When did we go? On the 9th. So whatever video came out after the 9th or on the 9th, you can expect me to be excited about that. And if I didn't talk about it that much, well, I'm just being bashful. I don't know what bashful means, actually. So let's not use that word. I'm just being, protective of things I love by not talking about them. Do you understand? Do you understand? I fell for this clickbait. I was so upset. Let's just look at this while we just zone out. We're gonna be like, if I had to put myself in a box, what type of YouTuber I am, I'm the like fun for Louis, like let's look at some stars YouTuber. I'm not like the shock factor, uprising type. Right, guys? I'm not that type to start an uprising. I mean, I know I mentioned about starting cults earlier, but that surely was nothing. That was my youth. I don't know why I hit that and then didn't inhale any of it and just let it all go out of my body, and I didn't even get any of it. Like, I waste this thing when it's like brand new, like just blowing out the smoke everywhere. And then when it's on its last leg, that's when I zone in. I think it's working. But there comes a certain point you're just smoking cotton, and I'm like, all right, bro, throw it away. Throw it away, bro. What is this? The stars aren't even move. Like, that's the first thing I thought when I look at this. I was like, this is a picture. But that's how still life is, y'all. It can't even be captured in this video. You have to be there to even know it's moving. Close your eyes for a little bit and be like, oh, the star's gone. Oh, a new one just appeared. And then have an astronomer next to you saying, it was there the entire time. That light has been traveling for billions of years. And then you're like, wow. And you can just calm the fuck down. And I'm not gonna need y'all to be there every time to enjoy that shit. I'm just gonna enjoy it in solo. I'm gonna usually, like, how I imagine, like, yeah, I might take you guys with me, but like how I imagine, like, I'm not gonna be doing this. I'm not gonna be sitting there with you guys, cause you guys are just gonna be ruining it. I'm gonna be trying to talk to y'all. So that might be the thumbnail, but I'm gonna be somewhere else. No, I guess I gotta do the videos there. Alright, I'll do them, but after I enjoyed it already. I'll be like, alright, I enjoyed it already. I don't know. It depends how I feel, but why would I do that on camera? I don't know. It smells like earwax. I think I'm doing it because I wanted to play this video.
I bless each one of you from my heart. The Pope is dead. Sorry to hear that the Pope is dead. I know that he was a kind of controversial Pope, with a lot of my Catholic friends believing that he was part of a generalized reformist movement within Catholicism.
This is how I want to talk, because he's thinking. Look how he looked over to get all those words. Hold on. He didn't even have them before he started.
I bless each.
And it's a nice, like, stepping down. Or stepping up, or whatever.
Each one of you from my heart. The Pope is dead. Sorry to hear that the Pope is dead. I know that he was a kind of controversial Pope, with a lot of my Catholic friends believing that he was part of a generalized reformist movement within Catholicism that kowtowed to state and likely even globalist power. It's not something that I know enough about. Let's have a little look at...
Like, he could have been lazy and just said something crazy. And I think that's what's about thinking. Because you might say something crazy, and I'd be like, why the fuck did I say that? Or why did I even say anything at all? But I think you could avoid a lot of that if you just think a little bit in the moment, what you're about to say. My dad used to always be like, think, motherfucker, before you speak. And I would constantly get that. And I'm like, damn, what am I saying? He'd be like, think, motherfucker, before you speak. I don't know what I was saying, but I would pay anything to go get those clips and hear that again. Because it was riling him up. And it wasn't even necessarily like I was saying the wrong thing. It's just like, it was crazy. I know what you mean, but think, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Because I think as I was younger, I would just blurt it out. I'd be like, listen, this is what it is. And sometimes there'd be emotion behind it, and it was too much. Maybe it was anger. Maybe it was whatever. Like, I can just get mad and just blurt out the most craziest thing, like just straight cuss words. Or I could think and it'd be profound. And then I would think back and think about all those cuss words I yelled out, and I'd be like, I'm not even that mad anymore, and why did I say that? Oh my God. I just hated that. When I would see people bust out, cussing people out and going crazy, I'd be like, fuck, they're going to regret that. Fuck. Because I could do that. Most people can. And I would just be like, fuck. Like earlier today, I was just thinking some shit in my head. And I didn't want to think it through. I just wanted to yell out like something profanity in my head with anger and like emotion. But before when I was feeling that come up, I was like, bro, calm the fuck down and just think. And it was just straight beautiful words. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, but imagine if I would have said the crazy shit to somebody in the context versus the beautiful words that really conveyed what I was saying. It could actually allow somebody to come in with whatever. It just allows you to like participate. Instead of, oh, these people fucking suck, you fucking lose. Like, no. Like, calm the fuck down and take a breath. That's not what you mean. That's not how you feel. You know what I mean? So, I think that's what we just witnessed Russell Brand do. If I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. I am an idiot.
Some of the reporting around the death...
Let me just stop. Like, I just love just saying fucked up shit about myself. But I do need grounding, so I guess that's my way to do it. We'll find a better way to do it in the future.
Of Pope Francis.
Habemus Papam.
When this soft-spoken man emerged onto the balcony at St. Peter's with a humble bow to the faithful and praying the Our Father,
Buonasera.
few expected a pope who would so radically transform the face of the papacy and the spirit of Catholics around the world. The first Latin American pope, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, he grew up in Buenos Aires, Argentina, the son of an Italian immigrant. Ultimately, Bergoglio couldn't resist the call from above, becoming a priest at 32, rising through the church hierarchy while shunning its trappings. As a cardinal, he sold off the church mansion, cooked his own meals, and rode the subway while helping the poor. So it only seemed fitting that the new pope would take his name from St. Francis of Assisi, who dedicated his life to caring for the poor. Catholics now also had their first Jesuit pope, an order of priests devoted to service for the greater glory of God. He chose a modest guest house over the lavish papal apartment. And Pope Francis brought change from the start, alienating some Catholics, but inspiring more.
Let's focus for a moment on the way that the world responded to Easter. J.D. Vance's response to the death of Pope Francis. My heart goes out to millions of Christians all over the world who loved him. I was happy to see him yesterday, though he was very ill. I'll always remember him for the below homily he gave in the very early days of COVID. It was really quite beautiful. I suppose the function of religious leaders is to ensure that our spiritual lives are not subjugated and controlled by the demands of the state, by worldliness. I suppose, ideally, we have to listen to Christ's edict that we are in the world and not of it, that our spiritual values obviously inform the way that we run our individual relationships, our collective relationships, and ideally that would map onto politics. What I believe we've collapsed into in our new sort of late globalist society is a set of ideals derived from rationalism that ultimately mean that a new aristocracy emerges, a cadre of institutions and elites that are able to use media and politics to ensure that most ordinary people live in a state of worldly darkness and distraction, worshipping false idols, whether they're the ones that bombard your eyes and mind continually through screens, or whether it's making gods of your own urges and desires. I'll speak frankly, a lot of my time is spent making gods of my fears or making gods of my desires, just worshipping them continually. Either you can be present with your problems or you can be present with Jesus. The point of the Pope, I suppose, is it, let me know in the comments and chat if you agree, is to carry the legacy of Christ, to become in the present day the rock that Peter was to our Lord, and to ensure that we, like Jesus, can be in this world, that we can represent a marriage between God and humanity, that we can live in the world using divine principles as our sat-nav, our coordinates coming from God. What I've sensed for a long, long time that reached a peculiar kind of recent peak in the COVID pandemic era is an attempt to create new orthodoxies. A simple little aphorism like follow the science was an indicator that absolute authority was being granted to, well, scientists, but the science was the type of science that was being funded. We're learning about that now that Marty Makari and Jay Bhattacharya are in charge of institutions within the HHS, meaning that different kind of clinical trials will be undertaken, that we'll learn new things about autism and what causes it, new things about diet and nutrition, what causes it. And the pandemic too was a watershed moment when it comes to media, wasn't it? Because if you'd not had independent media during the pandemic era, you would still believe that there were no side effects, that the vaccines were 98% effective, that the disease itself had emerged from nature, that it was a natural origin condition. All of that has fallen away and fallen apart. I suppose that there seems to be some, if not controversy, then debate around St. Francis is, I reckon, and I'm taking this from friends of mine that are Catholic, that there's a general sense that he ceded too much to the kind of ideas that emerge out of statism that neuter the message of Christianity and therefore Christ. That at the absolute forefront of our existence are our spiritual values and duties, that we live to worship and love God. And that actually is, by the way, not a suggestion, that's just what we all do. What we're discussing, of course, is what that God is. Is that God going to be yourself? Is that God going to be pornography? Is that God going to be money? If we elect to submit to the gods determined by our culture, then we are captured indeed. And I suppose it's the role of religious leadership to ensure that our attention, our minds and our hearts are directed to the goals and principles that God would have us follow. And those things are pretty clear. Let me know what you think about that in the comments and the chat. Here's Donald Trump's Easter message. I'll just show you a little bit of it because you can see that Donald Trump recognizes that we're in a new post-secular era where people are looking for more. There's a revival of Christianity in my country, the UK. People have recognized, young men in particular, who are returning fourfold to the church, that their culture hates them. It's been pretty clear for a long time that the United Kingdom hates young men. Why does it hate young men? Because young men, bound and motivated, will oppose the disgusting corruption that's captured that nation. Young women too, as well. But in the most general sense, who is it that you want on the front lines fighting? Well, have a look at who gets conscripted, have a look who makes up the massed ranks of most military organisations, and the answer will become pretty obvious. We'll be looking first at Trump's Easter message, then Keir Starmer's Easter message, then King Charles's Easter message, and let's see how they are positioning and manoeuvring the image and ideals of Christ in order to serve their own goals. Let's have a look. First of all, Trump.
Easter Sunday, we celebrate his glorious resurrection and proclaim, as Christians have done for nearly 2,000 years, he is risen. Through the pain and sacrifice of Jesus on the cross, we saw God's boundless love and devotion to all humanity. And in that moment of his resurrection, history was forever changed with the promise of everlasting life. As we approach this joyous Easter Sunday, I want to wish Christians everywhere a happy and beautiful and blessed holiday.
Pretty standard Christian message of love. Now, it looks like Keir Starmer and whoever does his social media are still captured and caught up in the early era of online spaces. Have a look at Keir Starmer's Easter message and look at his sort of like Facebook style social media approach. Look how haphazard it is. Look at how a little boy, curiously, has to take the lead in an interaction in a church with Keir Starmer.
Look at this. For you, Prime Minister. Thank you very much. Thank you for welcoming me. I mean, this is what the church is so important about, isn't it? I'm a stranger. I've not been in your church before, and already I feel I know you.
Now, firstly, obviously, he's dishing out candy to children in a church, and there are some pretty extraordinary rumours circulating online about Keir Starmer at the moment, so maybe it's not the best look. But what I would say is, even if you take it at face value, it seems very deliberate that they've elected the cleric that was used in this video. Let me know what you think about that in the comments and chat, and that they're focusing on the sort of trivial aspect of Easter, which is the sort of distribution of sweet treats to children, which of course is part of Easter, but not fundamental and essential. That's what I would know initially.
And you've welcomed me in. But that in itself is part and parcel of what you do, what communities do across the whole country.
Have a great Easter.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
It's also a kind of limp and diluted version of Christianity. I reckon the reason young men are returning to church in the UK is because they've sensed their culture hates them. They've sensed that their culture is meaningless. They've sensed that they're being deluged and drowned out, that their voices are not being heard, that their roles are not being respected. And the highest principle in Christianity is the principle of sacrifice, that your power is the power to serve and to sacrifice. There are clear and strong ideas, powerful and beautiful mystical messages, and it's certainly not the kind of sort of dishwater grey dirge, the filthy and empty bilge that nasally emerges from Keir Starmer, although I'm praying to be loving and forgiving towards Keir Starmer. Not that I've got anything to forgive him for, just a general position of forgiveness and open-heartedness and love towards Keir Starmer, because I sort of see him as an epitaph for a time where bureaucracy is used to sort of strangle out spirit. That's what I see him as a sort of a kind of nasal managerial, okay, right, here we go, let's go to the church now. What is it you're up to now?
What are you doing here?
So we're making a garden representing Jesus' resurrection.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that's pretty good to overcome death, I suppose, isn't it? That you was dead and then you was in a cave and then you rose again, and then for 50 days you sort of hung out, appearing to people and making it clear that death itself, the liminal space between biological birth and biological death, while sacred, can be overcome by accessing this mysterious power that comes to you. Then there's the bequeathment of the Holy Spirit, what comes at Pentecost, meaning that all of us become a temple for divine energy. I mean, you think about it, it's weird, isn't it? Consciousness itself, and the fact that we dream, and the fact that we're able to move our bodies with our mind. It all does seem a bit mysterious, but there's nothing so remarkable that I can't make it dull if I lurk in this church long enough.
Where's the seeds then? Oh, can you put one in there?
You pop that seed anywhere!
Thank you very much. Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Very good.
Have you not heard that before? Have you not heard teamwork makes the dream work before? Is that the first time? Wait a minute, teamwork makes the dream work. Hold on a second, not only does that rhyme, it's quite kind of upbeat. Excuse me, gather round. Right, we got a new policy. Teamworks can make dreams work. You there, how old are you exactly? I'm only asking for political reasons. How old are you? Right, okay, let's put this boy in charge of something. He's got what it takes. He's got pizzazz. He's got snap. He's got panache. He's the kind of person we need in the government.
Are you going to remember this moment?
I am.
Is that the kids having to take the lead on him? Are you going to remember this moment? I am thinking about it. It does seem quite powerful that God came to earth in human form and had to be sacrificed to atone for our sins, and he rose again from the dead, and a kind of new covenant was achieved with God, and that we might stride forward in glory, because all of us have fallen, all of us are broken, me, you, everybody, even the person doing an impersonation of me now, we're all broken, and if we don't have God, then what are we going to do here? Just sort of eat like lice, just gnawing on on the nape of a dog's neck, sucking blood parasitically till we expire. Is that it? Is that it? Or could we partake in a new covenant? Yes, these are all good ideas. Anyway, it's been lovely seeing you. Mum, that thing's happening. That thing's happening. Stranger danger, stranger. That rhymes as well. Stranger danger, teamwork makes the dream work. This is all brilliant stuff. Can this kid come and work with us at Downing Street? Nah, my kids aren't going to Downing Street. I've watched too many documentaries about what you fuckers do in there.
Because I'm going to have a sunflower, and when my children say, where did that come from, I'll be able to tell them. Oh, sorry about this.
Thank you.
Are you sure? A Haribo for you, yeah?
Actually.
So, thank you for what you do, and through you, I'm going to thank the entire sort of Christian community, because this is a really special time. And happy Easter.
Thank you very much.
Not at all. Anybody not got an egg? Who wants an egg? Did you want some? Yeah, one.
So this is King Charles side by side talking about Ramadan and then talking about Easter. Let's have a look.
As the Quran says, God does not burden any soul with more than it can bear. We hope that you have a blessed and fulfilling Ramadan. Peace be upon you all. Ramadan Mubarak. As Muslims across the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth observe the beginning of the holiest of months in the Islamic calendar, the month of Ramadan, I just wanted to convey my heartfelt best wishes to you all, and to tell you just how much my wife and I are thinking of you at this special time of year. As this would have been a joyous time. Mosques would be filling with life, Muslim families would be coming together to share food and prayers, and many of them would be inviting their neighbours and friends, of all faiths and none, to join them. My wife and I can only offer you all our kindest and most special wishes, and stress just how greatly the contribution of Muslims to the life of the United Kingdom is appreciated and valued, embodying the Ramadan spirit of charity and selflessness. As the Quran says, God does not burden any soul with more than it can bear. We hope that you have a blessed and fulfilling Ramadan. Peace be upon you all.
So there's what he said. Let's see what he said for Easter. One of the puzzles of our humanity is how we're capable of both great cruelty and great kindness. This paradox of human life runs through the Easter story. And by the way, like King Charles, he's doing his best, and it's a pretty... I don't know, it depends what you believe the royal family are. If you believe they're an ancient bloodline and that there is some extraordinary and occultist activity connected to the royals, then that's a perspective that we'd have to hear. Certainly I know it's the perspective of, David Icke or Alex Jones. And I think at some point we're going to have to be sympathetic or at least open to esoteric ideas when it comes to how power works. Do you think that the most powerful forces in the world are just serving material needs at scale, i.e. that Jeff Bezos is just furnishing himself with greater and greater wealth in order to explore and extrapolate on things that we all understand just with greater financial resources? It's entirely possible that that is what's going on, but it's also possible that there's extraordinary and... I suppose there's no better word than occultist activity going on. I don't know. It's weird when you see the sigils and the insignias. But I've obviously got another perspective on when it comes to what does that image mean, for example, on that space flight, their badges inverted, looked somewhat satanic. Because, I've got 33 tattooed on me, and I know how often people go, why have you got 33? Are you in the Illuminati? Are you a Freemason? I'm like, oh, God, no, it's Jesus' age, a voice like that. So I know that people project their own perspective onto things that they see. We all do it, of course we do. It's, there's kind of biases. So when it comes to the power of the royal family in this kind of era where it seems that a lot of British people are less interested in the royals after the death of Elizabeth II, what does King Charles represent? Well, we know what he represents. Britain's a monarchy. He's the monarch. He's the head of the state. He's our version of a president, even though, of course, he no longer has political power. He does have influence and extraordinary wealth. That's the explicit story. Is there a tacit, submerged story that includes occultist power? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. Here's what he says about Easter. The fact is this, that the monarch's power is meant to be derived from God. They're literally anointed in a sacred ceremony, like an oil is put on their heads to demonstrate the moment where they become the representative of God's power on earth. That's what that convergence of political state power and holy power is. In the same way that the Pope is the Pope because a bunch of ceremonies and esoteric elections, as covered in that crazy movie Conclave, take place. And now this is the voice of Christ. This is the person who stands.
All right, y'all, look, let me tell y'all something. I want to finish this video before I start talking. So, like I said, I think I'm smart. Not just because I say words I can't spell. Because I do weird shit sometimes when nobody's looking. So we're going to have to watch this at 2x speed so I can finish this video faster because time is of the essence. So y'all can watch it at regular speed at your own time. I'm sorry, I have to just extract the information before we can go ahead. I gotta go ahead and I got steak. He knows this. He knows people got lives and they can't really just be watching this all day. And I don't even watch him, to be honest with you. But we have to finish this video.
Adjacent to God and God's power. So like God, man, we're all obsessed, aren't we, with mysticism and esotericism or superstition or something. All of us know that we're here and we're going to die, and if we don't have any kind of means to process that, we kind of start to collapse and spasm and fall apart. So when the king gives a message about Easter, what is he saying? What's he not saying? Let's have a little look. Okay, one of the puzzles of our humanity is how we're capable of both great cruelty and great kindness. That's of course covered in the actual story of the death and resurrection of Christ. He dies for our sins because we can't ever atone for our sins. We're insufficient and incapable of atoning for our sins. So he comes to earth in order to atone for our sins for us. So it's not paradox, it's paradoxical in the most literal sense that it's contradictory, but it's embedded in the Easter message already. The paradox of human life runs through the Easter story, and in the scenes that daily come before our eyes. At one moment, terrible images of human suffering, and in others, heroic acts in war-torn countries where humanitarians of every kind risk their own lives to protect the lives of others. Okay, humans are capable of kindness, yeah. A few weeks ago, I met many such people at a reception in Buckingham Palace and felt a profound sense of admiration for their resilience, courage, and compassion. On Maundy Thursday, Jesus knelt and washed the feet of many of those who would abandon him. His humble action was a token of his love that knew no bound or boundaries and is central to Christian belief. That's beautifully rendered, I completely agree. The love he showed when he walked the earth affected the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need. A deep human instinct echoed in Islam and other religious traditions and in the hearts of all those who seek good for others. It's interesting that the Easter message in a nominally Christian country, you know, I mean, if you can have a king and the king is appointed by God and that God is a Christian God, it's interesting that there is the obligation to even refer to Islam. For example, in Ramadan, did they say, this is a Christian country and we really want you to celebrate Ramadan here because we love you and welcome because of our complex history and because of the Crusades and everything. We recognise that Britain has a duty towards Muslims, in particular the Muslims that live here. But Christianity is a very beautiful faith too. No, he doesn't say that. So why is that? Are you saying that because Christian power is so deeply embedded in the instruments and institutions of the state that it would be phatic and unnecessary to say it? Or is it something more nefarious, i.e. an attempt to undermine Christianity because it's the means by which ordinary people might find a set of values that will help them to confront state power? Now that's not doctrine, that's my personal opinion, because it says a bunch of times in the Bible that we should trust government and we should trust our leaders. It says that, doesn't it, in Romans, for example. But in Revelations, it's very much like, and you know, like, it's like, you know, watch them because it's Luciferian. And in Ephesians, obviously the motherfuckers isn't in the Bible, not yet until I get around to doing my translation, and you better believe that's a project I'm considering. In Ephesians, it talks about dark power, doesn't it? And I'm very curious about that. I'm very curious about where occultist power might be present in government. The abiding message of Easter is that God so loved the world, the whole world, that he sent his son to live among us, to show us how to love one another and lay down his own life for others in a love that proves stronger than death. Yeah. There are three virtues the world still needs: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. It's with these timeless truths in my mind and my heart that I wish you all a blessed and peaceful Easter. Charles, actually, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's quite a nice Easter message. And also, I feel some sympathy for it. I met Charles one time, and I know people that are friends with him. And unless someone can show me that there is weird occultist stuff going on, which I'm totally open to, by the way, then let's give the guy a pass. Seems to me that he was highlighting aspects of this story that are pretty beautiful. What do you reckon? Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join.
Look, I'm a little efficiency, and we're gonna have to figure that out right now on this channel. You're gonna have to fucking see that shit. I don't know why, but in my mind, I like turn my back towards the camera after talking. After like I started talking, like I'm doing now. Listen, guys. I don't know the guy that was handing out the candy. I don't know that guy. I don't know shit about him, to be honest with you. That's one thing, first of all. I heard of him before. I don't even know what he does. Even though Russell just told us. Thank you, Russell, by the way, for that video. And I wanted to say this one thing, but I forgot what the fuck it was. Oh. Why I don't know who this guy he's talking about? Let me remember his name again. I literally knew it. Oh, Keir Stromer? I don't even know how to say that shit. I don't know what he do or ever even heard of him. That's the first time you ever heard a YN say his name. Probably. It's probably the first time you hearing his name. I don't know what he do. He could be the goddamn Prime Minister of Scotland. I don't know. And the other guy that was talking about like everybody have a happy celebration of their specific religion. The guy in the UK. I don't know who that is either. And I barely know what's happening in the UK. You know why? Because I'm not from the UK and don't know anybody from the UK. Now, I'm sorry it makes me ignorant. I know a lot of facts about the UK. I have things I like about the UK. But to know their current news at this moment right now, I can't really tell you. But from what I do hear, it's similar to us because it's a European country, right? Like, I'm a fucking Dillard, guys. Let me tell you something. But one thing, I don't know why my back was turned to the camera and my vision, and if I should have followed it. Anyway, about the Keir Starmer thing. Oh, this feels better. I don't know if he a Christian or something. Is he a goddamn? And by the way, I can't even consider myself a Christian right now. Like, if I was called one by a Christian person, I would be honored. But I feel like I lost my Christian card in the past. Yeah, I don't know what the dude was handing out candy if he was the goddamn president or king of the UK. I'm just gonna show how ignorant I am. I spent most of my time in America in a small town. Like, I'm not talking shit about small towns, but it could seem really big from a small town. Your small town could seem really big from inside. It could seem huge. You're like, America exists for us. It's just a small town. Like, we're just a little piece of it. We're functioning. We're fine. And the rest of it is just an organ of us, but we're breathing fine. I don't want to blow up small towns like that. I don't want to blow up how nice it is. And people just start flooding there, but it's pretty nice. I don't know. I was also a child, by the way. But I don't think mom was paying that much in rent. I think there was some subsidizations going on. I don't know how to say that word. Something was getting subsidized. Something was definitely getting subsidized. It was like, you're just a child. Something's getting subsidized. Stop asking questions. But the whole reason why I probably don't even know about Keir Starmer, and I don't even know, I even heard people say like messed up things about him, and I'd be like, damn, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know, dude. But I think the reason why is because I don't really look into, like, if I hear somebody like saying something crazy about somebody, I don't really look into that, because I'm trying to just get the shotgun of the news, the shotgun effect, like just the splatter of it all, and then I can just bring it into my bunker and like make necklaces out of the words, like spaghetti, like macaroni jewelry. And then I say, look at, I put this one next to this one. And then sometimes my smart friends come and be like, wow, how'd you get there? And then I'm like, oh my God. Here we go again. How'd you get to the solution to this? I was like, but anyway, before I forget what the fuck I was saying. The reason why I just don't look into it, man. Like, if I hear someone, they're like, man, he's bad. I'm like, whoa. They're like, he sucks. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, everything you else been saying is like super reasonable, and you're like, dang. And then they're just like, look what he did. And I'm like, damn, he did that. And then I be trying to defend him, but he just keep doing crazier shit. And then it always leads to kids. And I'm like, all right, what the fuck's going on? Why? I'll be like, you just seen him at the store that day. Like, what the fuck's going on? So I just don't look into it, but I assume since shit's happening, I guess it'd be true and people be going to jail and stuff. But I guess it's is it a fear not to look into somebody like that? Is it like I guess it's like a don't look into anybody you think can spell better than you type thing. Like, what the fuck are you looking into that person for? Fuck. I'm like, I just got paintball splattered the news like you. Chill out. This is wild. But I don't be like Candace Owens in it. Like, alright, let me see. Can I just take it as face value? I'm like, if that sucky news got this far, damn. If that sucky news about somebody got that far. We're not even trying to cuss. We really trying to be a Christian. We're actually no, I'm just playing. So yeah, like, don't look at anybody that can spell better than you mentality or way of thinking, and then obviously don't cast any spells of your own you can't spell. So that's the world we live in. But I still be casting spell. I don't know. I was gonna pull the thing out and do some like gay shit. I like the whole like magic stuff. Like, I'm Creole, and then obviously Kenyan, and they have witch doctors and stuff. So I kind of like that stuff actually. But you're not supposed to, so we're not even gonna symbolize that. Like Russell was saying, we're not even gonna create that type of symbol. We don't even have tattoos. We're in the clear kind of a little bit on that side. The symbolism. Oh, symbolism. It was crazy he was talking about symbolism because I had so much I extracted from this video. But another thing is, like, see the Rumble logo? I was looking at it at this portion in the video, and I was like,
For a long time,
I was like, if those letters spin around, it's demonic, and he's a fucking lying demon. I literally had that thought. But then
a peculiar kind of recent peak in
I was like, oh, that's Christian.
the COVID pandemic era is an attempt to create new
But if they would have
orthodoxy.
spun around for some reason, it would have been like a head spinning around, and it would have been demonic instantly, and I would have like been turned off. But I haven't seen any like imagery like that in animation or like, well, not animation, but like in like, just, company like representation, like that logo down there. I haven't seen anything like that would turn me off. They must know. If you push it too far with your, I was thinking, oh, this could be a whole video. If you push it too far with your, like, I don't know what you would call that.
A simple little aphorism like follow the science was an indicator that absolute authority was being granted to,
Well, let me, it's probably demonic now because the video sped up to 2x. Let me slow it down to normal speed. Because they probably have a whole board, like, how much does it wiggle? How much do we make it wiggle? That wiggle right there is a Christian wiggle. And I don't know how you calibrate these things, but I think Jordan Peterson's on the precipice. See that wiggle of that logo? If those fucking letters spun around, and for some reason it has to be, which way is that? Is that left? Is that counterclockwise? If it would have spun that way, any of them or all of them would have been a huge indication that not only is Rumble, what's the word they be using? Oh, compromised. We're all compromised. Not only is Rumble compromised, but also Russell. That's what I just got. That's what I would have gotten. But no, it's fine. Look, it's a good wiggle. Now, we've anthropomorphized these letters because they shouldn't be moving. That's why I have ADHD, because that's why God said don't anthropomorphize shit. But we anthropomorphize these letters. But that's okay, because we already did it to the animals, so. It's like when you fuck up that much, it's just like, alright, whatever, motherfucker. That's what y'all. Alright, Lion King was okay. And then letters can wiggle a little bit. But don't spin them motherfucker. Like, there's a thin line. So it's still some type of order. We're just like dancing on the edge of it. So these letters are anthropomorphized, and Lion King was fire. Okay? But you gotta be careful when you're playing on those lines. But that's what makes it beautiful. That's a beautiful little wiggle. It's cute. You wiggle it too much, it's demonic. I'm turned off. You're doing symbolism. You got a future plan in the background. All right. Well, I'm ending this video on that. And I guess now we could use the Jordan Peterson clickbait. So bye. I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. I gotta get the fuck out of here.